Tēnā koutou katoa, ko Josh tōku ingoa. Greetings to everybody out there. My name is Josh and welcome to another week of Whale Watch Weekly Updates. So, the past week, the weather has been quite nice. Has been a couple of days where it has been fairly chilly out there. But other than that, we actually got a few tours out. There was a couple of cancelled days here and there as well. But yeah, we're glad to get out on the ocean. For this time of the year, we are actually quite busy. Winter is usually meant to be our quiet time. But yeah, we've had a lot of passengers come through, a lot of customers come through, and they have been experiencing some really good sightings out there. Now, I am just going to climb straight into it. So last Friday, the 1st of August, was the next update that I wanted to give everybody, and unfortunately that day was cancelled, and that was due to rough sea conditions, so Friday was a no-go. But we come right on Saturday, and on Saturday we were lucky enough to get 3 tours out that day. So Saturday the 2nd of August, we had our first tour at 7:45 in the morning. And on that tour, we got to see Mati Mati 3 times. We also got to see Lazarus. We got to see a large pot of dusky dolphins, some New Zealand fur seals, and then we also got to see the wandering and the northern royal albatross. So 2 of the larger birds, one being the largest wingspan bird or oceanic bird, and the other one being one of the heaviest oceanic birds. We got to see the Buller's Mollymawk albatross as well as the Shy, the Southern Royal albatross, the Cape and the Northern Giant petrel, a black shag, and the red bull and blackback gull. Then the second trip for the Saturday, the 2nd of August, we went back out, and that was at 10:30, and on that tour we got to see Lazarus and Mati Mati. Got to see another large pot of dusky dolphins. And then the seabirds that we seen was the Southern Royal albatross, the black-browed Mollymawk albatross, the Cape and the Northern Giant petrel, and the red bull and the blackback gull. And then finishing off Saturday the 2nd of August was our 1:15 departure tour. And that tour got to see 3 sightings of sperm whales with 2 different individuals. So they got to see Lazarus twice. They got to see Oldaki as well. They also got to see 1 humpback whale as well. So it's good to see the humpback whales are still around here in the Kaikoura Canyon. They also got to see a large pot of dusky dolphins, some New Zealand fur seals. They got to see the Bullers, the Shy Mollymawk albatross, the Southern Royal, the Cape and Northern Giant petrels, and also the blackback and red bull gull. Then moving on to the 3rd of August, and we had another day with 3 tours. And the first tour being at 7:45, we got to see Mati Mati twice. We also got to see a pot of dusky dolphins. We also seen some New Zealand fur seals, and then we got to see the Shy Mollymawk albatross, the Cape petrel, the Northern Giant petrel, the blackback and red bull gull as well. The second tour for Sunday, the 3rd of August, was at 10:30, and on that tour we seen Mati Mati, seen a large pot of dusky dolphins. Got to see the New Zealand fur seals in action as well, and also we got to see the Shy Mollymawk albatross, Southern Royal, the black-browed Mollymawk albatross, some Cape petrels, the red bull gull and the blackback gull. Now I do see in one of the comments there that the captain said that they seen 2 separate seals actually feeding on octopus, so that would have been an awesome sight to see. I was explaining it a few weeks ago how these New Zealand fur seals feed. Quite often we come across seals and you'll see them flicking their head around and something splashing. When you get closer and approach it, all you can see is a seal just being absolutely cruel to an octopus. They grab they hold on to the tentacles with their teeth, and they just flick it around and bite off a tentacle at a time. And then as the octopus tries to escape, if it is still alive, he'll just swim down, grab it, and bring it back to the surface. So it looks very cruel, but that's just how the New Zealand fur seals feed. And then moving on to the last tour for that day, which was at 1:15 in the afternoon. And on this tour we got to see 3 different individual sperm whales. The first one was Mati Mati, the second one was Lazarus, and the third one being our semi-resident whale, Marama. We also got to see another humpback whale on that tour, some more New Zealand fur seals, and then we got to see a large amount of seabirds and albatross, being the shy mollymawk albatross, the southern royal albatross, the Cape petrel and northern giant petrel, and the red ball gull and the blackback gull. And then on Monday the 4th of August we had 2 tours for this day. Now the first tour went out at 10:30 in the morning, and on this tour they got 6 encounters with sperm whales. So they got to see Lazarus 2 times, they got to see Marama 2 times, and they got to see Aoraki 2 times. But when they were viewing Aoraki and Marama, I do have a photo right here, they actually seen both of them on the surface at the same time. And look at that, they've even got some dusky dolphins hanging around them as well. So that would have been very special to see. So for those of you that are not aware, this whale here, where you can see the mouse, that there's Aoraki. You can tell it's Aoraki by his dorsal fin. See how it goes up and then it curls away into a sharp peak? And then that's Marama on that side. How we can identify Marama is mainly by his tail. When he reveals his tail, Marama means moon in Māori, so it looks like he's got moon craters along the trailing edge of his tail. Also on the 10:30 tour, seen a large pot of dusky dolphins, but also inside that pot of dusky dolphins were some common dolphins as well. Now the common dolphins look very similar to the duskies. The difference is they're a bit more bulkier, they're similar length as well as the dusky dolphins, but they've got this orange, like a orangey yellow tinge down the side of their body. When you see a dusky and a common dolphin side by side, you can tell the difference, but if I showed you a photo, you'll just be like, oh, it looks like a dusky. And when you get them side by side, you can tell the difference big time. And then we got to see some New Zealand fur seals on that tour, and then we got to see the shy mollymawk albatross, some Cape petrels, some northern giant petrels, the red ball gull and the blackback gull. And then the final tour for that day was at 1:15 in the afternoon, and it was another very good tour. On this tour they got to see Lazarus twice. They also got to see Aoraki and Marama side by side once again. And then they got to see a large pot of dusky dolphins, some New Zealand fur seals, and then the shy mollymawk albatross, some Cape petrels, northern giant petrels, and the red ball and blackback gull. But the good thing about this tour, ladies and gentlemen, something special happened. Now when you get 2 whales on the surface, they will dive at the same time, but they can be a bit out of sync when they bring their tails up. But the lucky passengers on this tour got to see this. So both of those whales fluked up at exactly the same time. So Marama being on the left hand side and Aoraki being on the right hand side. Just want to give a shout out to our researchers that go out on the boat. Our researchers are all volunteers, so they go out and they get us photo IDs of these whales, and this is where I get a lot of my pictures from. They send me a lot of pictures that I can show all of the customers or all of the guests that join into these lives, and they got me this epic photo just here. And they sent me the one of both of the whales on the surface just before as well. So I'd like to thank the researchers for sending me these photos just here. The 5th of August. Now we had 2 tours on for that day. And the first tour went out at 10:30 in the morning. So just before I carry on with this, for those of you that don't know about it, here at Whale Watch Kaikoura, in the winter or all year round, we always schedule a 10:30 tour or 10:30 departure tour. That's our main tour that we schedule. After the 10:30 tour, we will schedule a 1:15 departure, and then in winter, after that, and if the customer demand is high, we will schedule a 7:45 departure. Having 7:45 departures in the winter time, it's, it happens, but it's not often. And you've probably heard me in the past few weeks say 7:45 tour went out, 7:45 tour went out this day, that day. And that is very good for us. So it goes to show that a lot of people come in here to Kaikoura to view all of this beautiful marine life that we get to see here. So moving on to the 5th, 10:30 was our departure. And on this tour we got to see Auraki and also got to see mati, sperm whales. They got to see a large pod of dusky dolphins, and they got to see the shy and the black-browed mollymawk albatross, some Cape petrels, and some northern giant petrels. And then the second tour for the 5th of August, being Tuesday, was at 1:15, and on that tour we got to see mati twice. We also got to see a large pod of dusky dolphins, got to see some New Zealand fur seals, and then we got to see the northern royal albatross, the shy and the black-browed mollymawk albatross, some Cape petrels, northern giant petrels, the spotted shag, and also the famous blackback and red bull gull. Moving on to yesterday, which was Wednesday, the 6th of August. We had 2 tours on for yesterday. First tour went out, I will rephrase that. We had 2 tours scheduled for yesterday. First tour went out at 10:30 a.m. and on that tour we didn't get to see any sperm whales, but we had a surprise visitor come through the area, and it was some orcas or killer whales. So known as the #1 apex predator in the ocean, being the world's largest dolphin. We get to see these guys not too often around the winter time. Maybe once a month, once every 3 weeks if we're lucky. They're more common in summer. There's a pod of resident orcas in New Zealand that travel all around the country, going to different areas, and they just pass through this area of Kaikoura. They might stop in, have a bit of a feed, and then they carry on to their next destination. Also on this tour we got to see some dusky dolphins and some Hector dolphins. We also got to see some New Zealand fur seals, and then we also seen the Gibson's wandering albatross, the shy mollymawk albatross, the southern royal albatross, some northern giant petrels, the spotted shag, and the blackback and red bull gull. In the afternoon yesterday, the tours were cancelled. The northeast wind got up and it did make the sea quite rough out there. So unfortunately, we did cancel yesterday afternoon's tour. However, today, the 7th of August, we had 3 tours. So our first tour this morning went out at 7:45, and on this tour we had 2 encounters with mati. We also got to see a large pod of orcas, being 8 different individual orcas in this group. So some very lucky customers on this tour. We also got to see a humpback whale this morning, a large pot of dusky dolphins, and then we seen a lot of seabirds. The Gibson's wandering albatross, the northern royal albatross, the shy and the black-browed mollymawk albatross, some Cape petrels, some northern giant petrels, and also the blackback and red ball gull. Now, moving on to the 10:30 tour. We got to see mati, so we got one encounter with the sperm whale, but then we also got to see two different individual humpback whales on the 10:30 tour today. A large pot of dusky dolphins. We also seen the Gibson's wandering and the northern royal albatross. We got to see the shy and the black-browed mollymawk albatross, some Cape petrels and northern giant petrels, and the red ball gull. And then the last tour for today was at 1:15 in the afternoon, and it was another successful tour. So we got to see mati twice on this tour. We got to see two different individual humpback whales. We got a large pot of dusky dolphins and also some common dolphins in amongst that group of duskies. And then our seabirds and albatross were the Gibson's wandering albatross, the shy mollymawk albatross, the black-browed mollymawk albatross, some Cape petrels, northern giant petrels, some Hudson shearwaters, and also the red ball gull. So that was actually the wrap up of our tours for this previous week. Now what I want to do, I actually want to show everybody some photos of some seabirds. So you probably hear me a lot talking about the birds, and for some people that are not interested in birds, or sorry, I shouldn't say not interested, but that are not familiar with these birds, you're probably thinking, well, how can you tell the difference? Telling the difference of seabirds is the same as we can identify different whales. So what we are looking for is different physical characteristics or different markings on these birds. So here goes the Buller's mollymawk albatross. So the first thing that we can tell about the Buller's mollymawk albatross is it has that yellow beak. Now if we move on to I'll just go through the mollymawks first. If we go to a shy mollymawk albatross, see how it hasn't got that yellow beak like the Buller's, but it's got quite a white head and just a grey beak. And then personally my favourite seabird to see is actually the black-browed mollymawk albatross. I just really like their eyeliner that they wear. Well, I call it eyeliner, but here it is. See how it looks just above their eye there? Got a bit of a eyeliner or mascara. And also how we can identify these birds is they've got quite a pink or orange beak. So that's the main giveaway. Now with the mollymawk species of birds, their wingspan is about 2.5 meters. So even though we say that they're the smaller species, they've got a large wingspan, but they're just smaller than birds like the Gibson's wandering albatross that have an average wingspan of 3.5 meters. And also another bird that has a large wingspan being the southern royal albatross. So how we can tell the difference between the royals and the wanderings is the main giveaway with a royal. See their beak there? You may see that black line through the beak. That is the dead giveaway of a royal albatross. So northern royals and southern royal albatross, they have that black line through their beak, where a Gibson's wandering doesn't have that. And sorry, here we go. This one here. Northern giant petrel. They are actually known as the vultures of the sea. If there's any food hanging around, floating on the surface of the ocean, these guys here will be one of the first birds in there to try and attack it or try and have a feed of it. Quite often you'll see a lot of these birds hanging around fishing boats out there. But this bird here, the white morph, with a southern giant petrel, only 10% of those birds turn into a white morph. Now, I'll just put up this photo quickly. This is the southern giant petrel. So see how it's quite dark, it's that dark brown colour. 10% of those birds will turn into this, a completely albino southern giant petrel, but they're actually known as white morphs, and you don't see many of these around. You might be lucky to view maybe 2 or 3 a year. That's if you see one, you're a bird lover, you'll be over the moon. Okay, so what I want to do now, I want to move on to some conditions over the next few days. So here we go. Tomorrow, Friday, the 8th of August. Got a bit of northerly coming down, 35 knots, but 20 knots south of the Kaikoura Peninsula. Then it's changing to southwest, 15 knots everywhere in the morning. Rising to 25 knots in the afternoon. Very rough sea in the north, easing southerly swell 1 metre, poor visibility and rain. So, doesn't look very promising for tomorrow. However, northerly can be a bit tricky because yes, it will be northerly, but it will stay miles offshore. Sometimes it comes in and it will make us cancel, but sometimes it stays offshore. So that's what we're actually hoping for. It stays offshore and we can actually get our tours out. Then we move on to Saturday. Saturday looks horrible. And going off that right now, just looking at that forecast, I could almost put the house on it that we will probably cancel if that arrives. Any wind from the south does make our sea conditions rough. If it's 20 knots, it does make it a bit choppy. 25 knots and above, it's not very comfortable. So yeah, as you can see there, 30 knots and then 40 knots. Doesn't look very nice at all. And even Sunday. Sunday doesn't look like it's the best day. And then Monday, looks like it settles down a bit. And we may get some tours in on Monday. Just moving on to our weather prediction model. So for the 8th, don't forget this column in here, that's inshore, and this column out here is offshore. It's a bit of a traffic light system, you could call it. So green means go, orange means, get ready, and red, obviously, no go. So morning tour, looks like a 83% chance, looks alright inshore. However, offshore is 50-50. So yeah, it could be a bit rough out there. Then as we get on throughout the day, it looks like the conditions start to deteriorate. So 10:30 tour we may get away with, but offshore doesn't look very nice. And then from there, over the next couple of days, it looks like it will be quite bumpy out there. Awesome guys, so that's all I have time for tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed another episode of Whale Watch Weekly Updates. For those of you that don't know about these, I only do these for about 15 or so minutes. I try to keep it to that, but sometimes I waffle on a bit. But I just explain what was seen over the week, over the past week. I give any updates of the sea conditions and also the weather for the next coming days. And yeah, just basically keeping everybody in the loop of what's been seen out there. So apart from that, I hope everybody has a beautiful weekend. Please stay safe out there. If the weather's not looking very nice where you are, please keep warm, and hopefully that beautiful weather's not far away. So enjoy the rest of your night guys, and we will see everybody later on. Mā te wā.